All right, good evening, everybody. We'll give ourselves a little bit here to get dialed in and let folks get in here. Make sure I got good sound. All right, good evening, everybody. Yep, and we are good. Do me a favor and share this on your pages. Invite a friend, and we'll get going. Share it on mine. Yeah. Hey guys, good evening, and thank you all for tuning in tonight for the latest on Hurricane Milton, major Hurricane Milton. Right now, major Hurricane Milton is a Category 5 hurricane with 180 mile per hour winds and an 897 reading of central pressure. It is the fifth strongest hurricane in pressure, if you will, in the Atlantic Ocean in history. It is the third strongest Category 5 hurricane, among others, at 180 mile per hour wind gusts or sustained wind here, if you will, within the hurricane. So it's absolutely incredibly strong. Um, and it's actually currently going through what we call an eye wall replacement cycle right now. And we're going to talk more about that here in just a moment. But a couple of things to really keep in mind with that is that um, we may see some weakening slightly as the eye wall replacement cycle takes place. But unfortunately, as we come out on the other side of this, it may be a much bigger storm here by tomorrow. It's something we have to keep in mind with that. Now, I don't necessarily believe that the forecast models are handling this all that well. I really don't. I want to show you a satellite as of this evening, an absolutely crazy image here across the southern Gulf of Mexico. And you can actually kind of see here the last few frames, that eye wall replacement cycle probably ongoing. You can see where we might see a little bit of the eye wall maybe closing up a little bit. This would indicate that the hurricane is probably going to re-strengthen, reorganize here as it comes out in the next few hours. It may again weaken here over the next couple of hours, but then as we get into tomorrow, this hurricane may increase in size and just overall sheer strength. I don't think we've seen the strongest readings of the hurricane yet. I don't think we've seen the strongest pressure readings with it. So again, just this really something to keep in mind, that this is an incredible image here that we are looking at right now. So I'll tell you what, I want to show you something here real quick. This is a look at the list of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes. And you can see this is by peak wind. And I want to show you the strongest Atlantic hurricane ever was Hurricane Allen in 1980. That's where we had a peak sustained wind speed of 190 miles per hour. Following those, there were four that ranked up next to it. The Labor Day hurricane of 1935, Gilbert in 1988, Dorian and Wilma in 2019 and 2005. And then you've got five more storms, which we have Mitch, Rita, Irma, and Milton, or four more, I'm sorry, that are all tied in third place for the strongest hurricane that we've seen in the Atlantic ever. I do have an interesting comment here from a Colby Marker that says, "You don't have a damn clue what you're talking about." It's people like this that I love to have some fun with. I would just invite you to get lost and get out of the stream and go find something else to do, and perhaps maybe get a life as we sit here and kind of analyze one of the most dangerous storms that the west coast of Florida has ever seen. Saying we don't know what we're talking about basically just kind of reveals the level of ignorance that some people have in situations like this. So maybe go do something different. People are they're amazing. People are amazing. Couple of questions that we have gotten here. A lot of questions about pressure. Okay, what is pressure? Is there a Category 6? All these things. There's not a Category 6. Okay, it's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. Um, the pressure in the hurricane, let's see if we can get this right here so you can kind of, again, continue to watch it. The pressure um, really kind of tells us, what, how strong the hurricane can get. It's the easiest way for me to explain it. The deeper the pressure, the stronger the storm. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. And it really it really tells us what the max end potential could be in situations like this. So the best way to describe it is just really trying to give us an idea of just how strong the storm can become. The lower pressure just means it's just a stronger storm, and that's just really the best way to describe it. So the lower pressure reading that you see, just know that that's kind of what we're looking for in situations like this. And when you get storms that have lower pressure, you can obviously see the correlation with how strong the winds can become. Okay, so again, just something to keep in mind here, that the pressure readings, to keep this simple, just really indicates how strong the storm can get. That's the easiest way to really sum that up. Okay. Um, Now, let's go and look at a couple of different things here. I want to talk about the storm surge forecast, and this is off of our Clarity platform. And what you can see here is a lot of red. And this is the first thing I want to talk about is the 9-foot storm surge forecast. Rob says something. I actually want to toss this up here. Rob says, so numerically, what is considered low and what is considered high pressure? That's a great question. 1,000 millibars is considered kind of somewhat normal surface pressure. You go down to 950, you're getting into pretty rare territory, and you go down to 900 or in the upper 800s, you're getting into record territory, low pressure. So that may help. That may help with some of your ideas here with what is considered low and what is considered high pressure. Okay, so so many comments going on here. Let's go back to what I'm talking about right now, which is the storm surge, all the way up to as far north as Hamasa Springs. Anywhere you see the reds, these are 9-foot plus storm surge forecasts. And just to give you an idea, quite frankly, these are probably low. And what you would want to think about is the last storm that went through, especially in this region here in the Tampa Bay region, probably experienced more of a 6 to 7-foot storm surge. We believe that high end, anything in the red has the potential to reach as high as 15-foot storm surge. Okay, so I think that is something that it is, as the storm gets bigger, it expands as it gets closer to the West Coast. Something I'm concerned about is just the massive amounts of homes and property that will be underwater. This red goes all the way down to Marco Island, Everglades City, Cape Coral, Fort Myers. You're just talking about so many homes and so many places that will be underwater for this. With this type of forecast is just it's hard to fathom. It's hard to fathom the catastrophic damage that's going to occur all up and down the west coast here of Florida. Listen, guys, I got to tell you right now, just based on the comments that I'm seeing, you guys are really frustrating me. We're trying to analyze a life-threatening situation for the west coast of Florida. Maybe just grow up. Okay. Or just please leave. Just get lost with the comments. It's just ridiculous. I can't have it in here. So if any of my staff is in here, please block these people and kick them out of the stream. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to read it. And if this is all you have to do, go somewhere else. It's absolutely pathetic. So it's just stupid. Okay. Let's get back to this. And here's what I want to show you. That this area in here, again, Sarasota up to Palm Harbor, I really believe you're going to be dealing with the absolute worst part of this. in terms of storm surge. All right, I'm going to go back to the screen share here so you can see what I'm talking about. But Sarasota through yeah, Bradenton, Sarasota area up through kind of Palm Harbor or Tarpon Springs area of Florida. This is where you're going to be dealing with the absolute worst part of the storm surge and talking about. I think that um, you know, I just think it's unprecedented. And, I try not to hype it up all too much here, but overall, um, it's just really unbelievable how much of this, how much property, actual physical land, is going to be underwater from this. And I don't think we've seen the worst of the forecast yet in terms of how much water we're going to be dealing with. I want to take you over here to the HWRF weather model, the afternoon run of the HWRF. I do want to come on the record and say that I don't believe that we've seen the worst of or the best performance in terms of weather models. I'm going to try and get a better view. Here we go. I don't believe we're seeing super good performance in the weather models. And what I mean by that is just that the intensity models have struggled immensely. They have not done well with seeing the actual intensity, the intent, how fast we've intensified to Category 5 hurricane. I believe it took 18 hours today for us to go from 1 to a Category 5. And it's just a record time here. We've just, there's so many stats and statistics that are being broke on this. It's actually kind of crazy. But the other thing to think about is even some of the strongest hurricane models, or I'm sorry, some of the highest resolution, most reliable hurricane models are still under modeling the current strength of the storm. I've got to turn the I've got to turn the chat off. I can't read your guys' comments anymore. It's out of control. But the current pressure reading from where it's at versus what the models are saying is still struggling immensely to see just how strong the storm actually currently is. Now, I want to take this forward here and kind of show you the life as this storm goes through. What's interesting about the HWRF here, I'm going to go back to full screen view of the computer model. What's interesting about the HWRF is that it actually will try, some of these models actually try to re-strengthen the storm again as it goes through another eye wall replacement cycle. So that's what we currently believe is happening. This is out through Wednesday evening. This is Wednesday at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Wednesday. The modeling, the high-res modeling is a little slower with the arrival of Milton to the coast of Florida. We are a little bit faster in our forecast for a few reasons. I'll explain why here in just a moment. But just something to keep in mind is we are just a little bit faster than the models are. I believe we have HWRF is in and finally doing well. It looks like, yeah. Let's see. That's what I saw with the 18Z HWRF, John. If you're watching, I saw your comment over here in Slack. So I do believe it's probably going to be the best solution right now with what we've got here, and it is 1 millibar away at landfall from a Category 4 hurricane. So it's our current forecast as it hits land here, as it comes on board here. Again, this is the time stamp that you're seeing is for 7 a.m. Thursday. We think that's way too slow, but we think that the presentation or what you see on radar, like if you just take out the time, or not on radar, but on the model, if you take out the time, okay, and I just zoom in, you pretend like you don't see the time. I believe this is a better, probably the best modeled solution that we have for the storm right now. And again, that is going to probably be Category 4 type strength. Okay, at least is the current thought process. So just something to keep in mind. That the weather models, they haven't done well with the intensity forecast. They're probably not doing super great with the timing. And so we're trying to kind of come up with our own projections here, and somewhat pretty close to overall the Hurricane Center. The last couple of days, the Hurricane Centers have come north with their forecast, with their projections. I will I will show that and show you kind of what they have done here with their latest forecast, and just so you guys can kind of see that and see exactly where they're putting that. Because I don't have any reason to disagree whatsoever right now. I'll turn off the storm surge and these types of things and show you the track. But that is right where here's right where the Hurricane Center is taking Milton. And as it gets into the Tampa Bay area, St. Petersburg, this forecast, you see this M here, which says major. That's the Hurricane Center and their projection at that time having 125 mile per hour wind gust or sustained wind. And that is really just a couple miles per hour away from a Category 4, which again, our current projections are a Category 4 hurricane as it does make landfall regardless. So one thing I think too that we're kind of underdoing right now is potentially how big the storm is going to be as it does make landfall. Okay, I think it can be a relatively big storm, a little bit bigger than what we, in terms of how much coastal part of the west coast of Florida it can impact. I kind of want to go over that with you. I want to show you a different window real quick, just so I can do some measurements here and show you. I'm going to go here to a radar platform, and the wind field, guys. In looking at this, it probably stretches from, let's see, probably just just west of Gainesville here in this area, and it goes almost all the way down to Cape Coral. So that's the wind field at time that the storm would kind of make landfall. You're feeling probably hurricane force winds around 200 miles off for up and down the west coast. So pretty incredible to see just how far and expansive that hurricane force wind is going to be as the storm approaches the coast. And I'm a little nervous that the modeling may not be big enough. I think this is a decent representation, the one I had up on the screen a moment ago, but I'm a little nervous there for that, just in terms of just the absolute, the impact from the storm surge. Again, I just can't stress the storm surge enough. It's absolutely nasty. I'm gonna show you the peak surge forecast from the Hurricane Center, because again, I do think that we only go up in this. Okay, I do think we only go up in the impacts. This is where you see the purple. It's a foot plus storm surge, and again, there's got to be an emphasis on this, because when you talk about Helene that went through, Helene was 6 to 9 feet storm surge in Tampa Bay, and you're talking about nearly doubling it. So you're talking about also doubling the impact and the coverage, possibly even further inland, double the distance inland on the impact. So from Bonita Beach to, almost Yankeetown up there in Florida, wherever in the devil that is, 5 to 10 foot storm surge is going to stretch across 200 miles of the west coast of Florida. And so I want to make sure that we kind of understand what we're saying here is that the landscape of Florida as we know it with this type of storm is probably going to change for a long time. Especially in some of these high-end beach areas like St. Pete, Indian Rocks, Clearwater Beach, some of the nicest beaches in the world. I don't know that you'll be able to recognize them for a long time. And it's unfortunate because, I've been vacationing to the Clearwater Beach area for 30 years. Take my family there since they were born, and we've gone to Clearwater Beach multiple times. I'll talk about what the Hurricane Milton is going to do as it crosses Florida here in just a moment. I know there's people in Central Florida, the Villages, Ocala, Orlando, places like that are concerned about what it's going to do. I will talk about that here in just a moment. In terms of how far inland can the storm surge go, that's a great question. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, 10 miles. I don't know. I don't know how many miles it can go. I just don't have that information. If anyone on the team is watching and has that information, please post it in the comments, guys. But it's a tough question. A couple of questions I'm not going to be able to answer for you guys is evacuation plans. The question of should I evacuate? Listen, I have no idea. Um, I I don't know. Okay, follow your local government and law enforcement and what they're telling you to do. Um, and just listen to them. If they're telling you to evacuate, then yeah, probably evacuate. Um, I can't, I can't answer that for you. The other thing I can't answer for you is probably how far inland the storm surge is going to go. Okay, so I want to take a moment to pause. We did two things, two PSAs, public service announcements. If you're not following, subscribe to any of the pages that your YouTube, Facebook, X that you're watching right now. Make sure you do that for us. Follow the page, tag a friend, share it with a friend. Um, get the word out. Let's get everybody watching as much as possible. We try to keep the analysis level headed, straightforward, truthful. And the other thing is, this is a great comment. If you're posting harassing comments or conspiracy comments, you'll be blocked. We're trying to inform people of a life-threatening storm. If your comments are ignorant or just off base, they won't be tolerated here. There are other places for ignorant people to go, and you can go there and hang out with those people. You just can't hang out with us here. We don't really want you here. Okay. The other thing I want to tell you is that um, I'm just telling you that in terms of conspiracies on the government creating this hurricane or making it stronger or altering the storm's path, it's absolutely asinine. It's just crazy. And again, this is not the place for that. So just make sure you guys understand that we're not going to talk about that here. If you believe that, that's okay. Go somewhere else where people believe this theory and talk about it with them. Okay. Because we're not going to talk about it here. We're going to talk about actual information. So like, subscribe, follow, and share it with a friend. That's the PSA right now. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. Um, I want to talk about what's going to happen with the storm as it comes into the coast. All right, as it comes into the inland into Florida. All right, we'll go and look at the weather models here for that, and we'll pull up the latest forecast models here. I'm going to go to the HWRF and and talk about what it's going to look like with surface wind speeds here as it gets inland. Okay, makes landfall, and again, just a remarkable image here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Um, and you can see as it gets inland, as that low tracks just into the St. Pete area just north, you are looking at wind gusts here. I'm going to turn this on so you can see the full image here. You are looking at wind gusts as far inland in places like Newport Richey. Go over here and zoom in so I can get my cities right. Uh, Lakeland, Bartow, um, Kissimmee, Leesburg, and getting into Orlando even, you're looking at wind gusts that are still going to be north of 70 miles per hour. The center of low pressure Thursday afternoon is really centered right over or just west of Orlando. And you can see here that we've got still nasty winds going on at this point in time, still registering 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts throughout central Florida. So the thought process here, guys, is widespread power outages. These will certainly be widespread power outages throughout central Florida, probably most of central Florida where the storm does go through without power. I don't have any reason to believe otherwise. I think that um, Okay. I'm wondering if I'm back. Hopefully I'm back. Let me know if you guys have sound again. Sorry about that. Okay, we're back. We're here. I have no idea what happened. Lost connection. Apologize about that. Um, we have a oh wow, okay, yeah, wow, comments are flooding in. We have a ton of people watching right now. I don't know if maybe I'm on 3 different platforms. It's just get flooded with comments. I got to turn the comments off. Whew. Here we go. Okay, comments are off. I can't look at them right now. I'll get back to the comments a little bit later. I will address questions. I will. I'll get to the comments. The comments sometimes are so ridiculous. I just can't focus on reading all them, plus trying to give you guys a good forecast. So um, let folks know we're live, share it with a friend, invite a friend, tag a friend, retweet it, repost it, share it on Facebook, whatever the case may be. Get some folks in here. If you guys are watching, would love for you to share this so that other people can watch it as well. All right, I'm going to go back to sharing my forecast because what I was talking about is the impact here into Central Florida. A lot of folks were asking about what was coming across Central Florida. All right, and what I see is still low end Category 1 hurricane winds and or high end tropical storm force winds, which will continue to probably cause a lot of issues to the power grid. As it gets off the east, as it comes up the East Coast, note that it starts to come back with nearly 80-mile-per-hour winds there on Florida's East Coast. And so you're looking at places being impacted like perhaps Daytona Beach, Titusville, Cape Canaveral, down through portions of Melbourne and Palm Bay, Florida, on the east side of the coast there as the storm gets back out over water, and that's going to be Thursday afternoon. Continue to roll that forward. You can see it does actually reorganize back into a hurricane as it gets back into the Atlantic Ocean. The good thing about this is we are forecasting an out to sea movement, which means it shouldn't impact places like Georgia or South Carolina with any type of hurricane force winds. So that at least is a relief in and of itself. I'll show you a wind gust swath forecast because that can help you kind of understand where the winds are going to go and what they're going to do. This is from the afternoon European weather model. And again, you can see where the worst of the winds come into play here across the St. Petersburg, Tampa area. Okay, the Tampa Bay area. Whoops, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened there. And you can see that those winds extend east over the central portion of Florida, again, impacting the places I talked about, like the Villages, like Kissimmee, Lakeland, Dade City, Orlando, Claremont, Geneva, and then getting over into Cape Canaveral, wind gusts there by the European model at around 65 miles per hour. So again, wiping out power across the swath here of where you see these dark oranges and reds is most likely going to happen probably for several days if I had to guess. Okay, that's the European. I'll show you the GFS as well. This is the afternoon run of the GFS model. Very similar. In fact, a little bit more aggressive with winds that go inland. Okay, you can see the swath of wind gusts. These are maximum wind gusts observed throughout this event. And again, note where you see these light gray colors. I want to make sure you understand that in miles from Cape Coral all the way up to just north of Spring Hill, that's about a 165-mile stretch of Florida's west coast of winds over 85 miles per hour. So that's a huge stretch of land, which is why, again, I think when we're talking about storm surge, you're impacting. The storm surge is going to be to levels to the likes of which we've never seen, especially across the Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg area. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. These are sustained winds, hurricane force winds. I'm going to try and take some questions. All right. I'll go through the comments and I will look and see what kind of questions I can answer. So I'll start with what I see. I'm not scrolling back in time. By the way, I'm getting comments from X, Facebook, and YouTube, and they're all coming onto my screen. So just, you know, I'll give you what I can. When do you think it will be safe to leave Orlando? We'll start with that question. In terms of leaving Orlando, I don't know if you're talking about after the storm or before. If you're talking about after the storm, I think it would be safe to leave Thursday evening. Okay, so we will just let it go through and then I think Thursday evening you're safe to leave. Okay. Um, should Lakewood Ranch area evacuate? Again, Melissa, and just for folks asking this type of question, I don't know. I can't answer the question of should you evacuate. You really need to seek your local government and law enforcement officials for evacuation mandation. Okay, I don't know. I can't tell you what to expect there. I can show this comment here comes from my grandparents that are down in Marco Island. If you are down in Marco Island, I think the main thing that I'm most concerned with in that area is going to be the storm surge. You can see the storm surge here on my left side of the screen is 6 to 10 feet. Um, so, gosh, we lost. You can still hear me right now, John. It's saying that I've lost connection again. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, now I guess I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the connection. I'm on my Wi-Fi and stuff. So, anyways, Marco Island. I'm just concerned about. Okay, I'm still on X. Thanks, Brian. I'm just concerned about storm surge and the winds can be gusty. Um, it's not going to be a walk in the park. You might lose power and you might be underwater. Um, so it's a tough one there, Janice. But just stay safe. Stay safe. Let's go back to um, how much will the Destin area be affected? This is a good question by Garrett coming over from the YouTube. I think I'm back. So again, I apologize, guys. I think our platform, I think the device that we're using is is being overloaded. So I think we are back for now. I don't know how long it's going to stay up. We've just got so many people watching and commenting and interacting that I'm guessing this is the problem. My my speeds, my internet speeds at home are fantastic. I'm connected to good internet. I don't think it has anything to do with my connection. I think it's the platform we're using to stream. So I apologize, but best I got for now. What we'll do here in the coming days is um, we will stream from the office and hopes that we don't have this problem again going forward. So, okay, let's go back to answering questions. Again, my apologies. I stopped there on Marco Island. Um, yeah, appreciate all you guys staying tuned in and all of you watching and sharing and following. It's pretty incredible. Um, it's a lot of you. So it's awesome. Thank you again for that. Um, Here's a great question by Nathan. He says, whoops, that's the wrong one. I'll come back to that one. I want to talk about this one. There's just so many of you. Let's show this one here. Will the dry air and shear they are seeing even affect the storm with its strength? Yes, and the other question I was addressing, thanks, Brian, was about the Panhandle. I don't see really any impacts from the Panhandle, except if you're in the Great Bend, or whatever you call it, from Indian Pass over to Sewanee River, a 1 to 3 foot storm surge. But over towards Destin, 30A, Rosemary Beach, places west, I don't see any impacts from Milton at this current point in time. This is a question here from Nathan on will the dry air and stuff impact this? I want to talk about this because I believe it's important. I'm going to go back to my weather models here and show you kind of what he's talking about. And I'm going to go to actually a better view. We're going to go to the H-Wharf parent view of Milton. And what Nathan is referring to in terms of the dry air is all of these browns, these low relative humidity values, they try to wrap into the storm. The issue is that Milton just gets so strong, in my opinion, is that it's really going to have a hard time doing much to this. Um, your question at the end is, will it affect it with its strength? As of right now, I just don't think so. Listen, we've had other hurricanes in the past that have, they have gone into environments with a lot of shear and a lot of drier air, a lot of lower moisture content in the atmosphere. And because they're so strong, they just overcome it. Helene is a perfect example of this, making landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. And Hurricane Michael, which was a big one that hit the Panhandle years ago in 2018, I believe, we retired that hurricane name. You can't use it anymore. Milton is actually the one that replaced Michael, to replace that name. And here we are dealing with another one just like it. So just incredible to see that. Okay. Let's see. Any discussion about another form following this one? Barry, I'm not going to get into that right now, just so I don't confuse people. I can appreciate the question, but I'm not going to get into that right now. We will not get any rain here in central Indiana after this. It's a bone dry pattern right now. Nothing's going to come from Milton. I listen. I don't know who you are or what this is. My friend thinks he will be safe in St. Petersburg. I think that's a really, really bad decision. I don't think anybody in St. Petersburg is safe. I think you've got to get the hell out of there. And that's just me being honest. I don't think anyone's safe there. Yeah, if you're in St. Pete, you got to leave. I just don't know. This Milton has been a Category 5 now for a while. Okay, it's been a Category 5 for several hours today. I'll show you that over here on this screen. But yes, it got to a Category 5 hurricane in 18 hours. It went from a Category 1 to a Category 5 in 18 hours today, which is remarkable. It's currently a Category 5 down there in the southern Gulf. Okay. Just reading your comments here. Punta Gorda, any kind of news on the storm surge? Sandra, I'd love to answer your question. I got to figure out where you're at because don't know all these. I don't know all of these locations, but I will look right now and see where you're at, and then I will tell you your storm surge forecast. So it looks like you're just north of Fort Myers. You are certainly in the location of the 6 to 10, possibly even 10 to 15 foot storm surge. You are right on the edge there. Kind of Inglewood is splitting you in half. Inglewood is just west of you on the coast. So Punta Gorda is certainly not in a good spot for storm surge. Very, very high, very dangerous. So great question. Not good. Stay away from the coast there. Someone says they heard that we have shut the bridges down out of St. Petersburg. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. If anyone has any information on that, I'd be interested to know. I don't know why we would do that, but I don't know. I'm not sure. We actually have Starlink. Well, in other places, not. We'll be building a new office building and we'll be getting it. So let's see. Dylan says, where you at? Possible worst case scenario for the Florida Keys. Concern for my parents' word it's going to curve last minute like Irma did to us. I don't think so. Florida Keys is a 1 to 3 foot storm surge. I don't think it's going to curve like Irma did. Okay. So relax there, my friend. Amount of rainfall possible inland. That's another good question. I'll go to the latest rainfall forecast here. This is the latest rainfall potential forecast here. It just came out at 8 o'clock from the Weather Prediction Center. And the heaviest rain will be associated along and north from Tampa to Orlando up towards Jacksonville, where a swath of 6 to 8 inches of rain is possible. So you can see locally heavier rains along the northeast coast of Florida, where there could be 8 to 10 inches or 8 to 12 inches of rain even. Their lightest amounts will be across southeastern portions of the state of 2 to 3 inches of rain down there. But it's widespread, a bunch of rain. There's no question about it. Someone said, okay, good. Kids are in St. Pete. No bridges are closed. Good. There's always so much misinformation that flows around on social media. Anna Marie Island, is this going to ruin the islands? Gosh, I think Helene already did that. I mean, this is not going to be good. I think we're going to change the landscape of how the West Coast looks. So, yeah. Hey, just for my team that's watching, it's interesting. I think there's a certain view I'm clicking that's causing a lost connection. I haven't clicked that view again of the side-by-side of me, and I think it's causing it to break down. So if I don't click that view again, hey, maybe we're home free. What happens if the storm punches through the shear? That's it. Listen, that's what Helene did. That's what Michael did. There's a lot of shear there. It's going to try to work against it. We're hoping the shear will cause the storm to weaken upon landfall. But here is our forecast for landfall right now. Our forecast for landfall right now is this in terms of timing and intensity. Okay, this is a forecast when that our expert meteorologists in-house have put together. We've done a great job. They've done a great job with this, and just seeing. We've kind of been on the northern end of the tracks all along. The Tampa Bay has been something I've talked about for several days. So this is our forecast. Again, it will encounter a lot of shear and dry air here, but the idea is the storm could be so big and so powerful by then that it may not matter. Okay. Robin says, what is shear? Shear is just a very strong upper level wind that works against the storm's ability to have just kind of it shears it off. Like you can kind of think about something cutting the top off. That's what shear does to a hurricane. It's not what you want. Well, I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase. You'll want that if you don't want a strong hurricane. You want shear. Okay. So just wrong context there. Okay. Guys, while I'm kind of sitting here, I'm going to kind of get my bearings and see what kind of new information I'm seeing out there on the feeds and see if there's anything I can share with you. So give me just a moment here, and we'll kind of talk about what we're seeing latest here. Yeah, we've talked about this being the 5th most intense hurricane ever. Okay, and the 3rd strongest wind hurricane ever. Okay, so certainly this is a neat graphic that's been put together here by the National Weather Service. I actually like this. See if I can pull that up. These are the wind speeds by the local forecast offices. Very neat graphic. Tampa, that's 131 mile per hour wind gust. So Tampa, that is category 4 hurricane status, I believe. I want to make sure sometimes I get my scales mixed up here. Images. Yeah, that's category 4, according to the National Weather Service. I will show that. My team says we do have an eye wall replacement cycle going on. I'll show that on satellite. These are some of the max wind gusts forecast by the local weather service forecast offices down there, which I think this is a neat graphic. I really like this. But look at the Tampa Bay area. My goodness, that's category 4 wind gust, 131 miles an hour. So just so you know, to get to category 5, you got to get 156 mile per hour wind. Okay. So let's go to satellite. We've got the eye wall replacement cycle going on. Let's go into, there we go. Yeah, you can see, watch the eye, watch it. Let's go to the actual size here. Watch the eye start to kind of go away a little bit, right? Kind of lose its definition. The eye wall replacement cycle is, I tell you what, I'm going to pull up a better view here. Hang on. Thanks, John. I like this view a little bit better. See if I can. That is, you are on, which view are you on here? Let's see which view for Western New York. I'm going to slide this over. See if I can pull that right. Boom, right there we go. Okay. Look at that. Woo. You can see the eye just kind of lose its definition, and then see the convection fire up east. And what's going to happen in situations like this is, in the short term, it'll result in slight weakening. But as we go forward, I think that it's likely to remain a powerful category 5 hurricane even into tomorrow. And it may re-intensify some as it begins to grow in size and the eye wall comes out bigger and the storm comes out bigger on the other side. So these eye wall replacement cycles, they just allow, they raise the ceiling of potential for the hurricane to be strong, to be stronger, if you will. Okay. So that kind of gives you an idea of what an eye wall replacement cycle is. Like I said, unfortunately, as the new eye wall, as it replaces and it comes out on the other side, the storm probably grows in sheer size. Let me go to a sub-regional view just so you can get just a bigger view of this overall. And again, you can clearly see that happening right now. It's just an absolutely mesmerizing satellite image. It's just unbelievable. Also, I think it needs to go. We need to mention that Milton will have a chance to probably grow even stronger later tomorrow into tomorrow night, as it interacts with a jet streak over the southeastern U.S. And what I mean by an interaction with a jet streak, I want to talk to you about that real quick. We look at the entry and exit regions of jet streams, and I'm going to go here to the HWRF weather model and show you the upper level 200 millibar winds. And as it comes out into the Gulf, I want you to notice these greens, yellows, and reds up here in the southeastern US. All right. That is this right here. This is called the right rear entrance region of the upper level jet stream. There are right rear entrance. You have a front left exit. So your right rear and your front left is where the most lift is present. Upward motion and conducive areas of rising air for rapid intensification or growth. I think it could interact with this and possibly again continue to strengthen tomorrow. Um, to me, it's one of these things where I just don't know how much the dry air and wind shear is going to matter. I think it makes landfall as a Category 4 hurricane as of right now. So, I don't know. You hate to throw out things like the potential of Category 5 landfalls. You just don't know. You can't put it off the table. It's just we don't really the hurricane intensity model, the hurricane intensity forecast models have just not been good. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens as it interacts with the upper level jet streak here as it gets into the tomorrow, because we also have a negative tilt trough right here. Okay. That's just going to allow to help this. Kudos to the American models. They've been on this, by the way. Okay. So that's a great question. Kemper, if you shoot me over here, or if one of you guys, I got a question here that says, how often does an eye wall replacement cycle happen? That's a great question. I don't know exactly off the top of my head how often that it can happen or that it normally does happen. But it certainly is an indication of short-term weakening and long-term strengthening. So great question there. And Amanda says, will this be similar to Katrina's landfall? Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Brian says King GFS. The GFS, it was ahead. A lot of the forecasters were like, "Oh, we're going to see the GFS cave here. It's just a matter of time." And I'm like, I don't know. With that trough up there, I don't know. There's something I can show you. The consistency of the forecast models from the runs from the GFS has just been remarkable. You can just see how many runs here it has just been consistent. It's still a little north, all right, but a lot of models here. That's not the proper. A lot of data still under the northward. Here's the GFS. You can kind of just see just how consistent it's been. It's been remarkable with that. So it's interesting to note for sure. Go back here. I don't know if he saw my question or not. I'm going to take a couple more questions and then I'm going to wrap the stream up. I do want to make sure that you guys are that you're following us on the Facebook, X, Twitter. I'm sorry, X, Twitter, same thing. YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, follow us on X and follow us on Facebook. Share this with a friend. And we're going to continue to do these quite a bit tomorrow. John says, great question. Depends on the exact timing. Usually the most intense will go through 2 to 3 eye wall replacement cycles. They can take 6 to 12 hours at minimum, or even a day or two. This would be the most extreme cases on both ends. Awesome answer there, John. Thank you for that. So Irma did 2 in 12 to 18 hours, if he remembers correctly. So that's incredible. We'll see what Milton has to offer, because the image here on the left or on my left screen is remarkable. So will the storm surge be worse since the ground was already saturated from Helene? I would say probably. I would say you're going to see storm surges on the west coast of Florida to the likes of which you've never seen before in history in over 100 years. I would say it's going to be the worst thing we've ever seen. I mean, I don't mean that to try and scare people or try to hype people up. I don't gain anything from saying that, but I think it could be the worst thing you've ever seen. Okay, I really do. I think once we wake up Thursday, the images coming off the West Coast are going to be very sobering. So odds of Bradenton Airport being open Friday, probably pretty slim. I don't think it's possible. Bradenton's right in the right in the path. Okay, I doubt it. So, um, awesome. Well, guys, there's thousands of you watching tonight. Um, Thoughts and prayers with family, with loved ones, with friends. Um, I hope that the best can come out of this. Uh, I, I I can't even really. I don't have the right words because it's going to be so unbelievably devastating. I don't really know what to say. There's not a lot I can say. Pray for the west coast of Florida. Um, we will be live several times tomorrow. We will have several um, uh, reels and videos for you all day long tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll be live streaming as the storm is bearing down onto the west part of Florida here Wednesday night. I will be live the entire time from the office here with the latest. It just um, if anything, for informational purposes at that point by Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, we absolutely hope that everyone is out. Um, but again, it's to think about what the storm's going to do actually does kind of make me a little emotional. I try not to show my emotions. It's very, very sad. It's very scary to what this thing's going to do. It is a miraculous medal on my chain. My grandma gave me that before she passed. But pray for these folks. Be thinking about them, ways we can help, send money, resources, whatever it is we can do. These guys are going to need everything. Um, a lot of people are probably, I've actually heard stories of people packing up and they don't plan on going back. So, just crazy. Just totally crazy. So, that's interesting, John. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen law enforcement, government officials saying this. Um, so, I don't think anyone's screwing around with that. So make sure you're following. I'm going to try the double view to try to test my theory here. I'm going to go back to the double view and see if that's been the reason for the problems tonight, and see if that's what's been causing the bad connection issues. Maybe it's just pulling a lot of bandwidth there for that. But last few satellite imagery loops here before we wrap up. You can see Milton there, just cruising along, just right off the north coast there. They're down near the Yucatan. Look, someone says it's already being fuzzy. So this may be the culprit when we do this side by side view. It may not like it. Restream may struggle immensely to keep up with that. So if I lose you, again, thank you all for tuning in. I'll be live multiple times tomorrow, keeping you all posted and taking your questions and putting out videos. I'll have another detailed YouTube analysis. If you follow our YouTube channel, I put out a 16-minute analysis earlier today. I still feel pretty good about that forecast. My forecasts are always try to come with a level head and non-sensation. If you guys want to check out our services and what we have to offer from the Clarity platform, you can go to bamwx.com. We put all of this stuff in our application. Expert video analysis, nowcast discussions come from our actual forecasters. You can view all of our products and get updates from our Clarity platform by visiting bamwx.com. Someone said it's closer than the Yucatan than we thought it would get. I will show you if that's true or not. Okay. We can go over here. There's a great tool on Tomer Berg's website that actually shows us that. This is a free website anyone can go to, but he built a great tool here. And this is the forecast track versus where it's actually going. So in all actuality, no, it's not. It's kind of following what we thought. It's not closer to the Yucatan than we thought it would get. That is a great observation, though, Bob, because earlier today I did kind of think that it might be, but as of right now, I don't think so. It's kind of following the overall idea. So, um, yeah, bamwx.com. You can check us out. There's still 3,800 of you watching. Um, Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you. Yeah, thank you. If you guys would like for me to keep talking, I can. I'd hate to. There's so many people of you on. I've been streaming for an hour, so I mean, I can kind of um, go over the latest again if you guys want me to. Let's see. I'm just trying to catch up on some information. One more pass up coming. John, keep me posted. There's another pass up coming with the Recon. I want to see what Recon says. Let's go over here to tropical. We have an in-storm Recon data right now. We'll see what the pass says, and as soon as John gets that information, I'll share that with you guys and see just kind of what Milton is doing right now before this current Recon wraps up. How long, John, before we get that other pass here? How soon? Go to the raw data file here and see. 17 was 4. Bunch of numbers I know you guys don't know. About 10 to 15 minutes. Woo, got a marathon going on of live streaming tonight. Look at this guy. How about that? Maddie, guy or girl, I don't know if there's two of you there. Sorry. I use my Clarity app every day, and my parents call me asking if I can check my app for them. Go and check out Clarity, bamwx.com. Go and check it out. We do offer a paid service. You can go and check it out. You don't have to. Don't care if you sign up. We got plenty of clients. Just offer it to you if you're interested. Okay. I don't like coming on and talking about life-threatening situations and asking people for money. It's not my jam. You're welcome to check it out, but not why I'm on here. You can check it out if you'd like. Okay. Here is, what do you think the odds are to become strongest storm on record? Kale, that's a great question. And I don't know. I mean, here's a great image. Here's the airplane right now as it's going to be flying through, going to be coming right back in on the southwest portion here of the storm. How fascinating is that? I don't know. I mean, the strongest storm, obviously in history, in terms of these readings, I don't know. That's tough to comprehend. That would have to be, we'd have to be getting into 882 millibar central pressure. So that would be absolutely remarkable. It would pass Wilma in 2005 if that were to happen. Or 190 mile per hour sustained wind or greater, which would pass Hurricane Allen from 1980. So we would really have to see this thing get pretty nasty. I can't obviously rule it out. I can't say it's impossible, but it certainly would be an incredible. 190 is 190 is the record, and that's from Allen in 1980. So, Doug, just to give you some perspective there. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Melanie. We appreciate that. Yeah. Praying for all in the path of the storm. Absolutely. It's 180 right now, Bob. The sustained winds are 180. There's no question about it. I mean, that was the 8 p.m. advisory, 150 knot wind. If you can kind of see up here in the top right corner with 901 pressure. The 150 is that's 172.5. We did have 180 mile per hour winds though. May have been on the previous advisory. Yeah, Nick, was talking to my grandpa today. It's a great comment. I was on my workout this afternoon. My grandpa and his girlfriend called me and said, "Your grandpa's being stubborn. He doesn't want to get out." My grandpa is in Clearwater, and he doesn't want to leave. So I've begged and pleaded and done everything I can do. He's just old. He's stubborn. He's in his mid 80s. He likes his home. Luckily, he's in the highest part of Clearwater in a condo away from the beach. I don't know. So I'm certainly worried about it, and I hope that he's okay. But there's nothing I can do. So just hope that he makes it out okay. So all right. So let's see if we got a recon update. Still showing the same spot there. What are winds looking like for Lakeland, Florida? I'm glad you asked. I got an image for you. Lakeland, Florida, about 70 mile per hour wind gusts or so there. All right. 70 miles per hour or so. How many people are watching on X and Facebook, guys? Anybody on my team tell me how many people are? I see the total number of viewers, but it's crazy how many people are just kind of hanging out watching. I don't. We've been streaming for over an hour. I guess this is just fascinating to people. I don't know. Let's see what it says on my team. Tell me how many people are. What it says here on the thing. I don't know. Does it tell me how many people are watching? I don't see it. 665 on Facebook. There must be a lot of you on X or YouTube. Wow. 663. Okay. Yeah, the map here you're seeing on the left. Oh wow. Okay, so X is the big one. Yeah, the map here you're seeing on the left is the maximum wind gust forecast from the National Weather Service forecast offices. So that kind of gives you an idea, and that's a zoomed in view on the bottom right. Just for those of you that may not be able to see, that's 131 mile per hour wind there in Tampa. All right, so just an absolutely crazy forecast there. I'm going to wait for the recon to pass through and report the latest findings that recon has for you. As I'm kind of waiting for that, I will go through, get some updates here. Let's see. (18Z) European ensemble is locked on Tampa Bay. A lot of strong consensus on Tampa Bay being the landfall for Milton right now. We'd have to see a big shift in the modeling for us to think that Tampa Bay is not going to be where Milton makes the landfall, just based on that data there. Yeah, John makes a great point. One of our meteorologists, he says he imagines that as they go through the core, they're having trouble with transmission as they essentially are punching the core of the hurricane. It's low level reconnaissance, so the plane ride has to be absolutely crazy, brutal. John, I think was it Irma maybe where the pilots, one of the pilots broke their wrist from the turbulence. One of the hurricanes that one of the pilots suffered some broken bones, I believe, from just the turbulence of the storm in general. So, yeah, I can imagine what that is like. I can't even imagine the turbulence. Yeah, it was Irma or Michael. One of the pilots broke their wrist from just being shook around so much. Yeah, the 18Z Euro, by the way, is direct impact into Tampa Bay. Anything you've heard about Tampa Bay not being, susceptible to a hurricane is, you need to get that out of your brain because it's not true. I'm going to pull up something over here I want you guys to see. This is, dang it. This is from North Carolina. Check this out. Look at the difference at what happened from start to finish. I mean, can you even comprehend this? Is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Recon just updated. God, it's going to be any minute though. See, there's our plane there getting into the northeast part of the eye wall. Let's see. It's coming. That was the 52. We'll see what it brings here in just a second. I'm really interested in this particular reading here, the surface wind from the SFMR. We'll see what it says. Tampa is quite a bit low. Yeah. I do think, Leonard, that it can stay a hurricane as it enters into Orlando for a time. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's probably going to be about another, I don't know. Let me see. Gosh, it may be another 15 minutes before we get another update on this. So we may come back to this as kind of wait. I don't know if I want to stay on here for 20 more minutes. So. $11. It comes out at 11. Okay, guys, I appreciate you watching tonight. I'm gonna hang it up. Going to be a long day tomorrow, so we will be live all day tomorrow on in the office there taking questions. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like all the channels that you're watching, and just be on the lookout for our live updates. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. There's been a ton of you. Thank you for sharing and participating. If you want to learn more about our services and what we have to offer, again, you can always go to bamwx.com and check it out. And we'll be back, and we'll be here Wednesday night as this thing gets ready to touch land. I'll be sitting here hanging out with you guys and talking about what it's going to do as it hits land. So thank you all. Have a great